walk up and say, how be ya? Gee, but I'm glad to see you, pal. How's tricks? What's new? Love thy neighbor, and you will find your labor a great deal easier. Life will be breezier if you love thy neighbor.
Hey, look, what's it, honky?
Hey, white boy.
First this morning, the 7 Network's 7-2 channel has come under fire for screening reruns of 70s UK series Love Thy Neighbour, a program which British broadcasters have shunned in recent years. Because of its frequent use of racial slurs such as Sambo and Nignog, the plot centres on a working-class white couple who are unhappy with their new neighbours because they're black.
I've got a duty to do.
Well, while you've been doing your duty, we've got rib worked.
Pardon?
Spread from next door.
What, them nignogs? I knew it. They never wash, you know.
Do what?
It's with them being black. They probably don't bother, you see. They can't tell whether they're dirty or not.
What's that got to do with rib work?
Everything, love. Dirt and disease go together.
Oh dear, well the show was considered cutting edge when it first screened in 1972, intending to make audiences think differently about prejudice. The British Film Institute has described it as the epitome of racist sitcom, and critics have been quick to label the content a breach of commercial television's code of practice. So, does this show have a place in our modern culture at all? We're joined by Tim Burrowes, editor of media and marketing agency Mumbrella, and Radio 2GB commentator Andrew Moore. Thank you guys for joining us this morning on this. Tim, starting with you, this is such an outdated show. How do you think audiences will respond in 2010?
I think they'll actually be a bit shocked when they watch it, because it's one of those things that I think some of us vaguely remember from the time, but it's when you watch it again, and as you say, Kylie, the language, you know, phrases like nignog, spade, sambo, really offensive stuff, which, you know, just doesn't really have a place in light entertainment. You know, as a sort of, you know, period piece to show the sort of television that we used to watch in context, fine.
Like but to write an essay on it.
Yes, exactly, but as light entertainment at 6 o'clock on a Saturday night, I'm not so sure.
How does it compare to other shows with stereotypes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there have been plenty of shows that have had stereotypes, you know, right back to things like Are You Being Served? You know, you'll have things like, you have, you know, the racist pensioners like Alf Garnett and things like In Sickness and in Health. Sometimes, though, what redeems it is the quality of the writing. If it's really funny and it has a serious point to make, then fine. My problem with this one is it may have started off with a serious point to make, but actually, if you look at it, the writing is lazy and the laughs are in the wrong places. People are laughing at the racism, not at the foolish white man.
Yeah, OK. Now, the show's advertising is the original from the 1970s, right, including the words, Eddie Booth lived in a very comfortable working-class life. He's got, he's got nothing against black people as long as they know their place, which is not next to his. Now, do you think we're entertained at all by the ignorance or the prejudice that was once standard at all?
I mean, I think the blurb that you've just read out there, that's some of the problem, is that obviously we've got all of these new sort of secondary digital channels, and suddenly there's this need for all this archive content, and obviously the archive descriptions as well. So it's kind of, I suspect it's ended up on air almost by accident rather than by design. Yeah. And, you know, I'm really not sure that it was a good idea.
Andrew, we need to bring you in here. How would you respond to the network's defence that it's the white character who comes off looking silly? Does that make it any better, and is that in fact the case?
Well, I think that he was written in the show as being a bigoted idiot, really, and that's what the character is. But ironically, I used to watch this show in the late 70s, early 80s and got a laugh out of it. Yeah, but now, I mean, you'd never see a show like this made now, but I think it actually shows us how far we've come in the last 40 years. And they're not phrases. This show's been on repeat ever since it went off the air. Every series has been on DVD, so it's been out there for public consumption anyway. And there are words used in this show that we don't hear anymore, so I don't think it's all that alarming. I think people watch it, and those, as Tim said, who haven't seen it might be really open-mouthed about it all, but don't watch it if you don't like it. Yeah, I mean, what happens now? What happens now? It's on the telly. Will people boycott this, do you think? Not really. I think if people are going to be shocked, and I think the people who will be are those who have never seen the show before, but really, ultimately, people have the choice to watch it or not. It is the show has racist content, and that's what it was written for. And Bobby, Eddie's... Well, they end up with a pretty good relationship through the course of the show. They end up with a good relationship, and he gives as good as he gets. Now, both sides are probably wrong, but the bottom line for me is...
But yeah, but the two wrongs make a right.
No, they don't. The bottom line for me is, watching it more recently, I don't think it was that great a show. But it is one I used to watch and get a bit of a kick out of, and it highlighted what life was like in Britain back in the late 60s, early 70s.
All right. Andrew, Tim, thanks for your time on that.
Thanks, guys.
Good wrap.
Thank you.
I'm a working-class Catholic from Camperdown, Mr. Speaker.
Come on, get on the coach. Well, you needn't think I haven't got my beer, because you're not.
Where have you been?
Where have I been? I've been to get the beer. You can't go on a coach without beer.
And what's all this? We're going to Bournemouth, not Old Trafford.
These colours represent my political views, as well as my religion. Brother Harold, you've got to keep your end up. If you're travelling with a coachload of Tory closets...
I beg your pardon?
Morning, missus. How about a quick knees up and down the aisle?
Are you drunk?
No. But we'll be in a minute. Fancy a light ale?
No, thank you. Now, will you please all get in the coach?
Certainly, young man. Come along, love. Up the red. Morning, Squire. Don't worry, I'll take the cap out later.
Sit down.
No, you sit down. I'm going to start the community singing. Oh, come on, boys and girls, give it a chance. You all know the words. You sing the chorus, I'll sing the verse. Are you ready? One singer, one song. The working class can
I've had reports of bad behaviour on the bus.
How much longer is your husband going to be?
He said it'd only be a few minutes.
Oh.
And you? Here we are, love. Another supply of liquid happiness. In you go, love. Don't keep the coach waiting. Here we go, then. Right. Carry on, driver. Oh, you fancy me, don't you? Right, I'll sing song. You're on the song now. You ready? Oh, this is number one. The story's just begun. Romeo, lay me down and do it again. Romeo over in the claw.
This is intolerable. I'm very sorry, Mrs. Chalfont.
Bill, go and hurry him up.
Ellie! Hang on. Oh, by heck. I needed that. Come on, Eddie. Carry on, driver. Right, lads and lasses, what can I do for you now?
Well, for a start, you can try doing up your flies.
That was it, chap. Come on, though. Pass us the Guinness. Right. Who's the other one about Margaret Thatcher streaking? This is 29, and she says, you're doing fine. Roll me over, lay me down, and do it again.
What now, Mr. Booth?
Now, missus, when nature calls, who am I not to answer?
That's all right, Eddie. You take your time. Eh, Mrs. Chalfont?
Certainly. Be as long as you like.
Thank you, young man. I shall have one for you.
Are you sure, Mrs. Booth?
Positive.
Carry on, driver. Next stop, Bournemouth.
Recording. Okay, here we go. And action. Nothing to declare, eh? No foodstuffs?
No.
You sure? Yeah. Let me see that, please.
I'm British. That's a violation of Magna Charta. What King William signed at Ganymede.
It was King John that was Runnymede, and what's that?
vomit because I was sick in the aircraft. Fluffed on it.
The trouble with your Wales and your Scotland, you see, is they want to be like us, have a country of their own, see? With a parliament of their own. Right? But they ain't big enough. See, all your Wales and Scotland is like parts of rural England. And that's all right to go on holiday to, isn't it? See? You see, what they should be is counties. Like in Devon and your Cornwall, I mean, let them have a Lord Mayor. Don't they? Give them a Lord Mayor. But, I mean, what's the same with your Ireland? It shouldn't be your Irish Free State. It should be your county of Ireland.
I know that. And I know that and you know that, but they want home rule, don't they? I mean, they want their own language.
Yeah, what they want, mate, is a bloody good banging. Like we give them in the old days, that's what they want.
What you're saying is then we ought to have a war, you mean?
No, you can't have a war with them, don't be daft. I mean, in wars we had with them in the old days, it wasn't wars, was they? It was more like blood sports, isn't it?
Play them again.
Deal with us jocks in it, because there's no bother really, you know, jocks. A set of football. Some of them ain't bad at that, you know. Bit dirty, but you can't expect it, because all their brains is in their feet, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah. Of course, the Welsh, you see, actually got your Welsh. Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Oh. The Welsh, they got their own language, didn't they? They've got their own language. We had one in the army, you know. He was a nice bloke, but he was proper ignorant. You know, he couldn't speak no English hardly at all. No. All he knew was his Welsh lingo. You know? Yeah, we had a laugh at him.
A bloody thick lot, ain't
he said all the people in this village where he came from, they all spoke this Welsh language.
Yeah? Yeah. So, but ain't a language, it's more like what you call a dialect, isn't it?
No, it's got words and everything. He's got words for drink and eating.
Oh, your natives have that, don't they? Oh. Your coons in the jungle, they have that. But there's sounds, don't they? They have sounds for things, you see. That ain't language. I mean, a dog barks ain't language, is it? Look, I see, I mean, your jocks and your mix, and they got that. I mean, well, your Scots, I mean, they got a language, they call it your garlic. You see? But ain't a language. I mean, it's sounds. They got sounds, that's all. It's only sounds, you see. I mean, but it's only any good for talking amongst themselves. If they want to talk to people, talk to real people, they've got to learn English, see? Probably it's beyond their grasp, most of them. Thinking no, we had to learn them how to dig out them taffies. We had to learn them how to dig out their own bloody coal, you know. The trouble with the average taffy is, see, he's nothing more really than a two-legged pit pony. Well, actually, a pit pony will pull out more coal in the day, and it's cheaper to run, see? I mean, if the mine owners had their way, the bloody Welsh would be a stink by now, wouldn't they? But, I mean, they was killing them all faster than Julius Caesar and his Romans. I was thinking, it's a shame, really, there's no coal mines out in Ireland. Which, I mean, your Mick. Now, your Mick, he's bloody good with the shovel, he is.
It's what you're born to, I suppose.
You give a Mick a shovel, mate, and a big hole, and he'll go on digging till he comes out the other side.
I mean, I'm a migrant. I'm a 10-pound pom. I mean, I'm a migrant. I'm a 10-pound pom. I mean, I'm a migrant. I'm a 10-pound pom.